So hi guys, welcome back, and I don't know how to feel about today's video. I'm kind of nervous. I know on my Instagram I said to be as transparent as possible with these questions, to be intimate and ask deep questions and juicy questions, which you guys did not hold back on, because I have about like 5 pages of these responses, and I'm definitely not reading all of them because that's a lot and this video will never see an end, but I'm gonna try to get through as many as I can, and I'm gonna pick them randomly because there are a lot. But I did go through some of them, and yeah, you guys did not hold back, so I'm nervous, but I've already committed to this, so let's get started. Okay, so keep in mind some of these questions are asking me for my opinion and my point of view, which again, it's my point of view, so I'm just going to talk about how I feel about these things. You don't have to agree with them. I don't expect people to see eye to eye with me, so I don't want to start any controversies or any like arguments or something about differing opinions. You can just agree to disagree. I'm just making it known that these are just my opinions. They don't have to be agreed with. Okay, so what do you think about unspoken bullying at Indian colleges, especially engineering? I think that it's sad, and I feel like it isn't that unspoken anymore. Yeah, there are still colleges out there that do not like really do anything to prevent bullying from happening at these places, but I feel like on the other hand there are colleges now that are making efforts to have anti-bullying and anti-ragging campaigns. And I mean, I'm at a liberal arts college and we still have campaigns for all these kind of stuff because you can't avoid it from happening anywhere, not just engineering colleges. It happens at a lot of other places now. But I feel like people are starting to do something about it, and it is helping. And there are a lot more resources available. Obviously, some people are still not aware of these resources or choose not to avail these resources, like people who have been through bullying and ragging and those sort of things, and it traumatizes them to extents where they don't feel comfortable seeking help or they don't know how to. And I think that needs to be spoken about a lot more than the fact that the issue exists. So I feel like we need to do more talking about how we can get through it rather than the fact that it exists. To what extent should you express yourself? I feel like to whatever extent that you want. The extent is whatever boundary you decide to set for yourself when it comes to expressing yourself. Different people have different boundaries when it comes to talking about their feelings or their opinions on stuff. I know I do. For me, I've found a variety of mediums over the way that help me express myself. When I was younger, it was art. I used to express myself through my drawings and sketchings and paintings. Then it turned into writing, and now it's I think the best way that I express myself, putting myself down on paper. It helps me communicate my feelings a lot better, and I'm comfortable doing that. And now it's content creation to an extent, because I feel comfortable talking to a camera. I feel comfortable putting my point of views across like this in some ways. So I feel like the extent really is what you decide it to be. So express yourself however way you want, to whatever length you want to. To me, it's a personal choice. What do you feel is the correct age to have a boyfriend, or when should you go for it? I don't think this is something I should be setting a age criteria for. I feel like getting into a relationship is a decision that one reaches when you feel like you're ready for it. Obviously, relationships are something that require a lot of work, and they do require a certain level of maturity. And I feel like if you think that you're ready to put in the work and are at a stage where you're mature enough to handle the ups and downs of a relationship, then go for it. Some people figure out these feelings when they're a lot younger, and some choose to take their time with it and get into relationships later when they're more firm on what they're feeling. So I feel like it depends from person to person. It can be as early as you want it to be or as late as you want it to be. Whatever makes you happy and whatever makes you feel like you're there. So I feel like there's no correct age to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you should just go for it when you feel like you're at a place in your life where you would want to. Okay, well, Don't even have to say who sent this in. Do you love your sister? Yes, I love you, Anika. Not a question, just a thing. I'm genuinely very happy that you have come so good so far in this. That makes me really happy, and I think you just made my whole entire week. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I appreciate you to honestly to the greatest lengths, and I love you. How are you actually doing right now? I feel like that's a complicated question to be asked right now. In a lot of ways, I'm not gonna deny that I'm not okay. There are things that have happened in the last couple of months or in this year alone that have really tested me and challenged me and kind of thrown me around a lot, and I feel like I'm still figuring out how to be okay. But I know that right now I'm at a place where I would want to be okay. Like, I was beat up about it for a while, but now I want to get better. And while I feel like I'm also at a point where there are a lot of things that I'm uncertain about, I am now ready to figure them out. I feel like while I still get like depressive waves and I get anxious and really stressed out, and sometimes that affects my health a lot, I feel like I will get better. So how am I actually doing right now? I'm not really okay, but I am trying to be, and I've always been an advocate for the fact that it's okay to not be okay. So I'm trying to listen to that and get better. Who is your favorite fashion icon? Immediately the one that came into my mind was Kendall Jenner. I love her sense of style. I've always adored it. She can rock basically anything, and I've always loved her outfits. The way that she carries them more than anything. I feel like she's very confident in her looks, and she's very confident with how she presents herself, and that to me is the most attractive. So yeah, that makes her my favorite fashion icon. Besides her, I guess also Taylor Swift, because I've also always loved her sense of style. So yeah, it would be either of those two, but Kendall Jenner for the win. Have you ever had your heart broken? How did you recover from it? Yeah, I have had my heart broken. When it comes to recovery, I feel like that's something that's different for everyone. Like, I have friends who've been through heartbreaks and have and their process of recovery has been to just ignore that it happened, or to kind of not acknowledge it and pretend like everything is okay and try to get better, like work on themselves and stuff like that. That's okay if that's how you would want to deal with it, by pretending like everything's okay and then dealing with your emotions later, then that's completely fine. But for me personally, I feel like my recovery process is the fact that I would allow myself to feel my feelings and go through the pain of a heartbreak rather than pretend like it never happened and just act like everything's normal. Because I know that if I did that, if I kept pretending, at some point it would stop and my emotions would catch up with me, and I would just be a wreck, and it would impact everything that was going on in my life at that point, and it would just hit a lot harder. So I would rather go through the pain and just the feelings of heartbreak and sadness and wallow in all of them for as long as it took for me to get over it, and then begin to actually move on. I feel like each process is different. It differs from person to person how you want to get through it. It's a personal thing, and it's a very impactful thing. It hurts a lot, so whatever your way of dealing with the pain is what should get you through it. What does love mean to you? I'm guessing this is more in the romantic sense, so that's how I'm gonna answer it. Love to me is the strongest, purest form of emotion, I guess. Like, there are a lot of feelings out there, but I feel like loving someone is the most vulnerable and open and honest that you can be. Like, I feel like love in some ways, not just romantically, but love for anyone is the culmination of every feeling that exists. Because love will challenge you, test you, it will hurt you, break you, shatter you, it will make you happy, convince you that life is just beautiful, and it will make you appreciate everything a lot more. So love is a lot of things. But according to the Selena Gomez and Coldplay song Let Somebody Go, love is equal to the pain, and I completely agree with that. I feel like love is all the highs and all the lows, and to me it's just the most intimate feeling you can ever experience with someone. And personally, I feel like love is not really a 50-50 thing. It can be, but I think the ratio depends on where you're at with that person. Like sometimes your love for them can make you want to carry 100% of the relationship, and you might have to because your partner is not doing that well and needs you to. Or maybe it's a 70-30 thing. It depends on where you're at with that person. But as I feel like if you really love them enough, then you would be willing to go through whatever it takes. Love to me is deep, it's personal, and I hope that it's the most beautiful thing with the right person. Book recs. I haven't read that many to really give book recommendations, but from what I can tell you, like I got into reading the Colleen Hoover books when they became popular. I would recommend Ugly Love and Verity. I like off the top of my head, I love those two books. Besides those, Black Beauty is a book that I read as a kid, and I just read it on multiple points growing up. I love that book, and I will never stop recommending it. It just always makes me happy no matter how many times I read it, and it's a beautiful story. I mean, I just bought the Twisted series as well, so maybe I'll have a lot more recommendations the next time I do this, but for right now, I guess these would be it. Heard you can sing, can you? Um, I don't know. Like, sometimes I think I can, sometimes I don't know. Like, I definitely can't sing on a professional scale. I have like very limited vocal range, but I feel like I can carry a tune, and my friends who've heard me sing say that I can sing really well. I've been encouraged to pursue it professionally, but I would never. It's just a hobby, and it's something I enjoy doing because I love music, always have. So it's just something for myself, but I feel like I can sing. I just don't know if it ever would be publicly. What do you think about the hookup culture? Um, I think I don't really have an opinion per se. I think, like, I personally would never get into it. I would just get attached. I'm a relationship sort of girl. Like, I would rather have a meaningful long-term connection with someone than a thrill that lasts for however long the hookup lasts. I don't know. I've never done it, and I don't think I ever will. It's not for me. I have a lot of friends who are into hookup culture, and it makes them feel better, and that's their way of going about, I don't know, connecting with someone. So I feel like to each their own. Like, hookup culture is really popular, especially in Gen Zs. I feel like get into it if that's what you want. It's never something I would want to do. If that's what you want, go for it. Okay. Should you stay friends with an ex? Up to you. Like, I feel like it depends on both you and the person you were involved with, and it depends on the situation on which things ended. Like, if it ended amicably or mutually, which not a lot of relationships do. I feel like in every breakup scenario, there's always one person who's like more initiative of it than the other, even if it's a mutual breakup. So there is always going to be hurt involved. So staying friends can be difficult, but I feel like if you're both willing to do it, then go for it. I'm a very, like, I can't hold a grudge for a long time, and I like to believe the best in people, and I try really hard to just work things out. So I would be the type to initiate a friendship always. Like, it's better than like having to avoid them or just be caught in awkward situations. So personally, I feel like it's a good idea if it works out. Like, it's again, it depends on the situation on which things ended or where you're at. Maybe it requires some time before you can be friends, and that's okay too. Like, go through the period where you hate each other or don't want to talk to each other before you can find a way to be friends. Like, it is a good idea, but sometimes maybe not. Maybe if there was too much hurt involved, there was too much suffering, then... Oh, and if it was like an abusive relationship or something, then please never try to stay friends with that ex. But yeah, again, it depends on the intensity of the situation, like I said. If you can, sure. If you can't, then figure out what you would want to do. What inspires you the most? To me, I think it's more of a who than a what. My mom inspires me the most. She has been through a lot. I've seen her go through a lot, and she's never given up. Like, there are points where I know that she could have. I know for a fact that if anyone else in her shoes would have, but she persevered and she always came through and always did it for us. She did it for me, for my sister, for our family. And I just find that so inspiring because I know how much she's been through, how much she's dealt with, and I can't even imagine ever going through half the amount that she's been through and coming out of it with a positive attitude. But she has, and that really inspires me every single day to do better, to get better, and want to make as much as I can out of my life. So she inspires me the most, even when I don't think I can be inspired or when I'm so mentally exhausted. She finds a way to make me feel okay, and that to me is the most beautiful connection that I have with someone in my life. Yeah, so it's her. I love you, Mom. What makes you sad? I mean, so many things make me sad. I'm a very emotional person and I'm a very sensitive person. But I feel like what makes me sad is sometimes not knowing what could have been. Like, I'm the kind of person who likes trying before giving up. Like, I'm not the person who would straight up give up. I would like to give it my all before giving up. And sometimes it makes me sad that it doesn't work out with everyone. Like, you could do your best and it still fails. And I think that's what makes me sad. Losing friendships or relationships that you've had for a long time and watching them come to an end. Because that's something that I've always struggled with. I think I always will, kind of. But yeah, that makes me sad. And I think watching people go from people you know to people you don't, Selena Gomez, that makes me sad. What's the most pain you've ever felt? Honestly, everything that's happened with my dog. For those of you who don't know, my dog Kapu, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor when he was just a year and a half old, and now he's 8, and he's just dealt with it his whole life. And every time it gets worse, and especially the first time when he was diagnosed with it, he just went through so much, and it absolutely killed me because there was nothing we could do to really help it at that point. And it still makes me really emotional, but it also makes me proud to see how far he's come. But just because he's made it this far doesn't mean that there haven't been obstacles along the way. Every time his health takes a dip, I think it's the most pain that I've ever felt. And I'm not even the one going through it. Like, I can't even imagine what that poor dog goes through. But yeah, watching him suffer is the most pain that I could go through. Okay, I see my camera flashing at me right now because the battery's about to die and I'm about to run out of storage. So this is the last question. If you could change something in your recent past, what would you change? If you would ask me this maybe even 2 weeks ago, I would have had a ton of things that I would have wanted to change. But where I'm at right now, I feel like if I had recent past, I wouldn't want to change anything. I want to believe that everything happens for a reason. No matter how bad it was, whatever I've been through, I feel like it happened and it's led me to where I am right now. And yeah, maybe if things had gone differently, I would have ended up somewhere else and things would have worked out in a lot of ways. But I feel like ultimately there's no point in wanting to change something because you can't. So I would rather stop trying to believe that I can. So I wouldn't change anything. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, I would have said so many things. I would have had a list, but I feel like right now I would really want to believe that everything that's led me to where I am has happened for a reason, and it's gonna lead me to better things. And maybe it won't be easy getting there. Sometimes it would be good to know the reason, but yeah, I feel like whatever reason they happened for, they're gonna lead me to something better, something that's more meant to be. So right now, I wouldn't want to change a thing. I'm happy for, maybe not happy, like I'm sad about a lot of things that happened, about a lot of things I went through, but I want to believe it's for the best, and I want to make the most of what I've learned from them. And I feel like ultimately that's the biggest thing. And so I wouldn't change a thing because it taught me a lot and I'm gonna use it when I go on. So that's it for this video. That was, I don't know how many questions I answered. I wasn't really keeping track, but they did get deep, they did get personal, like I said. Was not expecting it to get too deep, but I am actually really satisfied with how this video went. I was so nervous before it, but I'm happy with the outcome and I hope I was able to answer a lot of your questions. If you want to watch it part 2 or want me to cover more questions, because there's still a lot more that I didn't answer. If you want to see me answer the rest of them in a part 2, technically it would be a part 3 because there's already a Q&A on my channel. So yeah, well, thanks for watching. I'm gonna try and upload more consistently. Hopefully this goes up on Sunday because the one before this went up on Sunday, so that would be 2 weekends in a row, and I would be very proud of myself to do this. But yeah, I'm gonna try to be more consistent, and I hope you really liked watching this. Like always, you know the drill. Like, share, comment, subscribe, turn on the little bell notification, and I'll see you really soon. Love you guys and thanks for watching.